things which influenced me or inspired me to want to become an animator initially are not necessarily the things which continue to inspire me now. Like, as I've grown older and more experienced, my tastes have changed. I try to draw from a lot of different sources. The most important one being personal observation, just looking at your environment, your architecture, people, studying the way people look.
I've spent the latter half of my life observing fantastic things, but it's always after the fact. That changes now.
You can only create in the way that feels the most natural and instinctive to you, and you have to be true to that. Trying to imitate something that pre-exists or that's predetermined tends to create work that's very inbred and staid and not fresh.
You got a million UDs standing around collecting dust.
I try very much to avoid those kinds of formulas. So in that sense, I'm approaching it as if I'm inventing a way of using the medium. Originally, I started doing animation without any voices at all because, in a sense, I wanted my animation to be pure. But in the end, I mean, it only serves to enrich the experience from the viewer's point of view.
What the hell was that?
Don't move.
Whatever medium you're working in, what you're really interested in is the emotional experience that the viewer gets, the audience gets, from looking at it. I think of animation as a method of filmmaking, first and foremost. I don't really see much of a relationship myself with comic books and graphic novels. I mean, apart from the way you draw characters. When you're an animator, you do a lot of quick, rough drawings. You need to spend more time on each drawing when you're doing a comic book, I think, because it lingers on the page and it has to hold up by itself. When you're an animator, your drawings flash by on the screen in, fractions of a second. And one way of thinking of animation is the control of the subliminal image, because you're looking at a rapid succession of images that flash so fast that they only register subliminally. And I like that elusive quality of the image in animation.
But a man like you does not understand such a thing by being lectured. You must experience it.
I'm very fortunate to have a really, I think, a very top-notch crew here. A lot of these animators and other artists are people that I've worked with over the years, and so I'm able to select them and assign them jobs which they are best suited for, depending on their individual talents. So if somebody's good at drawing effects or close-ups, then they'll get those scenes. Other artists are better at doing fast action scenes, and so forth. Very often I'll look at the way another designer has done something and I'll say, well, that's fine, except I just wish that he would do this a little more, like put more emphasis here and less emphasis there. Creating is as much knowing what to avoid doing as knowing what you have to hit.
Here, they are appreciated for what they truly are. Art.
The computer allows you to do a lot of things that are just prohibitive to do by hand, and it's also faster. Doing things digitally, it allows you to keep things organic throughout. You can keep making creative decisions all throughout the process, whereas traditionally you had to pre-plan everything exactly how it was going to be beforehand. For me, the thing that is appealing about doing animation by computer is that it continues to progress, and so the technology keeps advancing, and each year practically we see the medium develop, whereas you don't get that with 2D animations. In the end, I think whether the character is drawn by hand or it's generated by a computer program, I think the audience doesn't care, really. It's what the character and the story is able to convey emotionally. That should be the key.